Guys, this is the video I thought I was going to make. Other YouTubers would talk about how this is not going to happen, how this would be, I think the FTC is doing it, and we were watching it and saying, the FTC really sucks out there. I don't understand what the rest of YouTube is watching. No, the cow was correct because Microsoft won its court fight against the FTC over its Activision Blizzard acquisition. Everybody, I am the cow, and I'm here to talk about this for you today. And let me just say, this popped up on a news feed while I was at work today. This was the one that the freaking court decision came the one day I have to be in office. The one day. And I came right home and I got right on there so I could talk about it with you guys. But the federal judge, Jacqueline Scott Corley, has ruled against the FTC, meaning that Microsoft's attempt to buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Why they didn't just round up to the 69 for the memes, I don't know. But it has been freed until it can be fully reviewed, and the companies can complete the deal before the July 18th deadline. That July 18th deadline is important because Microsoft would have had to pay a $1 billion breakup fee, and Kotick said that if the FTC won, he didn't see how this case could go forward. And this will possibly change how gaming goes, not just for this console, but for the next console cycle, because Activision Blizzard is a pretty damn big deal. Judge Corley wrote in her 53-page decision, "This court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending resolution of the FTC administrative action. For the reasons explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it will prevail on its claim that this particular vertical merger in this specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty. Call of Duty was the thing that everyone was most worried about. Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied." And look, the FTC had a year to put all this together. I don't know why they tried to do this so late, but they did, and they lost. So the judge also, man, I was talking with friends on this, I was chatting online about this, but the judge found almost every point of the FTC wanting. She even singled out Harvard economics professor Robert Lee's analysis that Microsoft would have a financial incentive to make Call of Duty and Xbox exclusive, and wrote that it failed to take into account the plans for the franchise to remain on PC, to come to Switch, and be accessible through cloud gaming. Before the merger, a consumer wanting to play a Call of Duty console game had to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, Judge Corley wrote. After the merger, consumers can utilize the cloud to play on the device of choice, including, as is intended, on the Nintendo Switch. Perhaps bad for Sony, but good for Call of Duty gamers and future gamers. And look, this is just Sony's strategy. They've paid, especially Japanese developers, but also some North American ones, lots of money to gate or never release on anything but Sony. They want, and then they were also the first ones to really start pushing the $70 price point for first-party games. And then they had the gall. And look, Microsoft is not innocent in all this. This is not David versus Goliath. This was Goliath versus Goliath. Let's be real. But arguing that Microsoft is going to do all the things that we do, so we can't let them, have this merger, was never going to fly, guys. So the FTC can try to appeal, and it does have its own antitrust lawsuit, but neither one of them has much of a chance of derailing the deal. Now, the last real obstacle in the way is the CMA blocking the deal in the UK that we discussed, but that is apparently disappearing. Microsoft President Brad Smith has tweeted it is currently set to negotiate with the CMA on final remedies. And look, the CMA was already getting a ton of backlash from gamers and even the UK government back at their home. They were not happy with this, with what the CMA was deciding. And with the FTC losing in court, the CMA is probably too worried about also losing in court. I think that they're going to get some minor victory, and they're just going to let it happen. We're grateful to the court for swiftly deciding in our favor, says Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer. The evidence showed the Activision Blizzard deal is good for the industry, and the FTC's claims about console switching, multi-game subscription services, and cloud doesn't reflect the realities of the gaming market. So Activision stock prices finally shot up huge today. We have this screenshot right here from Twitter. It's up 13% to the 90s, and that is important because, as you remember, Microsoft is going to buy for $95 a share. There's a lot of people who didn't think this deal was going to go through, and now know if I hold that stock on the day to close, which is coming up in just about a week now, if I hold that stock, I'm going to get $95 a share. So big hedge funds love to do this kind of thing. If they know, to you and me, buying 10 shares and making $50, it's not a big deal. But buying 500,000 shares and making $500,000 in a week is a big deal. And that's actual money. Now, this was after the 5-day hearing in the Northern District of California. I call that significant because, California is a more liberal state. They had a bit of a better chance there. And had massive revelations, some of which we've gone over, from people like Phil Spencer to Sony Interactive CEO Jim Ryan. The FTC was trying to argue that the deal would have wide-ranging consequences that would harm consumers and lead to less competition, while Microsoft defended it as a necessary strategic move against Sony. Now, some of the things that I think the FTC went poorly on is whether high-end console gaming like Xbox and PlayStation is separate from the PC, the Switch, and other hardware, which it's not. It's all part of consoles. You can't... The FTC tried to say, well, we're not really counting Nintendo Switch and PC game. This is only about consoles. But gamers can choose wherever they want to play now. So you can't just only pick the ways to play that are beneficial to your argument. And whether franchises like Call of Duty are popular enough to single-handedly swing momentum from one company to another. At one point, Spencer even held up his hand and promised that he would not remove Call of Duty from PS5. Now, in 10 years, is there still going to be Call of Duty in PS5? Nobody can 100% know that. But I do know that Microsoft's going to make a lot of money off of Call of Duty, including selling on PlayStation for the next 10 years. Testimony during the trial revealed plenty of gamemanship on both sides, and interesting details, including court documents that revealed that Microsoft had discussed buying Japanese publishers Sega and Square Enix, and that executives of the tech giant often discussed making games exclusive, like Bethesda Software's upcoming Indiana Jones. Now, at the end of the day, and here is the entirety of this, if you want to read it. I'm not going to recommend that. It's 53 pages, and it's a bunch of legalese. But ultimately, the judge wrote that these examples were unpersuasive because they weren't a live service, multi-platform game like Call of Duty. She cited Minecraft as the best example, while the FTC argues Microsoft's past conduct following similar transactions also demonstrates its likely anti-competitive nature. Presumably referring to ZeniMax, this ignores the Mojang Microsoft acquisition. And you know what? That's something that I didn't think about, but she's right. Microsoft is the most likely closest thing to Call of Duty. And Minecraft, and Microsoft lets Minecraft be on it. In fact, Sony tried to block it because they didn't want Minecraft to go, and Nintendo and Microsoft, you might remember, made a lot of hay. Like tweeting each other, you want to build something in Minecraft? We got cross-pay. And Sony's like, well, we have to protect our users from, other people. It's just, guys, what is the cow's opinion on this? The cow's opinion is if you own the stock, you're about to make a lot of money as you cash out because Microsoft's going to buy it. Look, the FTC had some really weak arguments. We've gone through them. You can even find more eloquent people. He's like, I don't know what the FTC was arguing during those 5 days, but I guarantee you nobody who actually plays or studies the video game industry was in charge of the FTC's case. They blew this. They bungled this. I want a strong FTC. There was an argument you could have made. They didn't do that. They went as niche and as far-reaching as they could, and they couldn't get it done. It was terrible. The stock opened today at $82.56. It closed $10 higher. It is at a 52-week high now. It is amazing. And yeah, this is it, guys. Call of Duty, Blizzard, and hopefully Blizzard and Activision get better relationships under Microsoft. Hopefully the employees get treated better and Kotick goes away sooner rather than later. Guys, what is your opinion? Are you happy about this? Are you upset about this? Let me know in the comments below. I ran right home, hour long through rush hour to get this video out as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and play more games, including Call of Duty, because games are awesome and you deserve awesome. And I'll see you soon.